The world doesn't see your soul, it sees your price tag. If you walk into a room looking like the struggle, people treat you like a burden. Machiavelli knew that the masses are always taken by appearances and the outcome of an event. In the streets, people don't have time to check your bank account. They check your shoes, your watch, and how you carry your shoulders. If you look poor, you're an easy target. If you look like money, you're a partner. Poverty is a scent, and if people smell it on you, they run. They don't want your bad luck rubbing off on them. You could have the best ideas in the world, but if you're wearing a beat-up shirt and tired eyes, those ideas are trash to them. Imagine you're trying to close a deal or even just get a table at a packed restaurant. You show up looking tired, in a faded hoodie and scuffed sneakers. The hostess looks right through you. She tells you there's a 2-hour wait, even though you see empty booths in the back. The guy behind you in the crisp, tailored coat gets the reserved table instantly. You feel the sting of being invisible, of being deemed not worth the effort. You're standing there feeling small, and that smallness starts to leak into your voice when you try to argue. You look like a pest, not a guest. To get out of this, you don't need $1 million. You need the image of it. You keep one battle suit, one high-quality outfit that fits perfectly. You go to the bathroom, fix your hair, straighten your back, and put on that one piece of armor. You walk back in with the confidence of a man who owns the building. Speaking less and looking bored, you don't ask for a table. You expect one. Suddenly, the hostess is apologizing for the misunderstanding and finding you a seat. You win because you managed the perception before a single word was spoken. It's the same when you're looking for a job or a favor. If you show up looking like you need it, you've already lost. Neediness is the hallmark of the poor. Machiavelli taught that a prince must never appear to be relying on the mercy of others. When you look poor, you are asking for mercy. When you look successful, you are offering an opportunity. Even if you haven't eaten in 2 days, your collar better be stiff and your shoes better be shined. Think about a time you were pulled over or had to deal with a bureaucrat behind a desk. If you look like a nobody in a stained t-shirt, they will talk down to you, make you wait, and enjoy the tiny bit of power they have over you. They treat you like a number that doesn't matter. To solve this, you change the visual math. You show up for that meeting or that court date looking like you have a team of people waiting for you outside. You use sir and ma'am not out of submission, but out of the easy grace of a superior. Because you don't look like a victim, they stop treating you like one. They start wondering who you know and what you're capable of. You get the yes because you looked like someone who doesn't take no for an answer. In this world, the coat makes the man, and the man makes the money. Never let them see the struggle. Only let them see the success you haven't even grabbed yet. People love to tell you they don't judge a book by its cover, but they are lying to your face. In the real world, the social filter is a brutal machine that sorts the winners from the losers in a split second. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you really are. If you look poor, the filter marks you as low value, and the doors stay locked. You don't even get the chance to show your talent or your heart, because the filter stopped you at the entrance. Looking poor is a signal of weakness, and in a world built on power, weakness is an invitation for people to step on you. Think about a time you walked into a high-end store or a fancy car dealership dressed in gym shorts and a stained shirt. Maybe you had the money in your pocket, but the salesman didn't even say hello. He walked right past you to talk to the guy in the suit who didn't have a dime. You felt that cold wall go up. You were being filtered out. You tried to catch his eye, but he looked through you like you were a ghost. The problem here isn't your bank account. It's that you showed up without your armor. You gave him permission to ignore you because you didn't look like someone who could help him or hurt him. To break through this, you have to stop being as honest with your outfit and start being strategic. You don't need a tuxedo. You need a uniform that commands a baseline of respect. If you're being ignored by someone who thinks they're better than you, don't get angry and don't beg for attention. Anger makes you look like a crazy poor person, and begging makes you look like a pitiful poor person. Instead, you fix the filter by changing your energy. You pull out a high-quality leather notebook or a clean, expensive-looking phone. You act like you are on a tight schedule and their bad service is wasting your valuable time. You use short, clipped sentences. When they finally realize they've made a mistake and try to help, you don't jump for joy. You stay cool, keep your chin up, and act like their help is the bare minimum. You win because you forced the filter to recategorize you as a somebody. This filter follows you everywhere, to the doctor's office, the bank, and even the police station. If you look like a nobody, the system will grind you up. They'll make you wait in the plastic chairs for 4 hours. They'll lose your paperwork. They'll talk to you like a child. To get out of this trap, you have to dress for the version of the truth you want them to believe. You show up for that meeting with a pressed collar and a posture that says you expect results. You don't explain your problems. You state your requirements. When you look like you have resources, people assume you have people, lawyers, bosses, or connections. They don't want the headache of messing with someone who might be connected. You bypass the cruelty of the filter by looking like the one who owns the filter. In the streets, looking correct isn't about vanity. It's about survival. It's about making sure the world sees a person they can't afford to ignore. You have to understand that faking it isn't a lie. It's a strategic necessity. Machiavelli taught that a leader must be a great pretender and dissembler. In the streets, if you show the world your empty pockets, they won't fill them with gold. They'll fill them with stones. If you show them even a glimpse of a gold chain or a clean watch, they'll offer you a seat at the table. Looking poor makes you a victim. Looking prosperous makes you a predator, or at least someone too dangerous to mess with. Your image is the shield that stops people from even trying to play you. If you look like you have nothing to lose, people treat you like you have nothing to offer. Picture a situation where you're applying for a job, a loan, or trying to talk your way into a big opportunity, and the truth is you're actually desperate. You need that money to pay rent by Friday. You're stressed, your stomach is tight, and you feel like crying. If you go into that office smelling like desperation, they'll smell it too. They'll lowball your salary, they'll give you the worst terms on the loan, or they'll just flat out reject you because nobody wants to bet on a sinking ship. They see your cheap, wrinkled shirt and your nervous habit of checking your phone, and they decide you're a liability. You're being drowned by your own truth. To fix this, you use strategic display. You spend your last $50 not on groceries, but on a fresh haircut and a crisp white shirt that looks like it just came off the rack. You leave the beat-up car 2 blocks away and walk the rest of the distance so they don't see the rust. When you sit down, you don't talk about your bills or your struggle. You talk about your other options and upcoming projects, as if this deal is just one of many. You act like you don't need the money. You lean back, take up space, and speak slowly. Because you don't look like you're starving, they'll be more than happy to feed you. You secure the bag by convincing them you already have one. This shield works in your everyday life, too. If you're walking through a rough neighborhood or dealing with a landlord who wants to push you around, your display is what keeps them back. If you look like a somebody, the landlord thinks twice before ignoring your repair request because he assumes you have the money to take him to court. If you're in the street, looking sharp and moving with purpose, tells the predators that you aren't the easy mark they're looking for. You aren't showing off for vanity. You're showing off to create a boundary. Machiavelli knew that the vulgar are always taken by appearances. Most people are the vulgar. They don't look deep. They look at the surface. If the surface looks expensive, they assume the person is valuable. You use this human flaw to your advantage. You wear your success before you've earned it, so that the world gives you the tools to actually achieve it. You never let them see the broke version of you, because once they see it, they never forget it. Keep your struggle in the dark and your shield in the light. When you look like you're barely hanging on, you become a mark. It's a debt you pay every single day in the way people talk to you, push you, and ignore your boundaries. In the street corner, the one who looks sick, tired, or broke is the one who gets eaten first. Machiavelli warned that it is much safer to be feared than loved, but being pitied is the absolute kiss of death. Pity isn't kindness. It's a step away from contempt. If the world pities you, they won't respect your space. They'll talk over you in meetings, they'll cut you off in traffic, and they'll try to manage your life for you because they think you're too poor to have a brain of your own. Looking like a victim is an open invitation for predators to move in. Think about a situation where you have to take your car to a mechanic or your phone to a repair shop. If you show up looking like the weight of the world is on your back, shoulders slumped, clothes a mess, eyes darting around, you've already lost. You're practically wearing a sign that says, "Please cheat me." The guy behind the counter smells the desperation. He knows you're stressed about money, so he tells you the repair costs double what it should. He knows you're too low status to put up a fight or call a lawyer. You're stuck paying the victim tax because your appearance told him you couldn't defend yourself. You feel that heat in your chest, that anger of being ripped off, but because you look like a nobody, your anger just looks like complaining, and he ignores it. To get out of this trap, you have to kill the victim in your reflection. You don't show your hand, and you definitely don't show your hurt. You show up looking sharp, acting like your time is worth more than the car or the phone combined. You don't lead with your problem, you lead with your expectations. You mention a trusted friend who usually handles your business but is tied up today. You ask for a detailed, written quote before they even touch a bolt. You don't look at the price with fear. You look at it with a bored, critical eye. Because you look like someone who has the resources to cause them a massive headache. Maybe you have a big following. Maybe you have a brother who's a cop. Or maybe you just have the money to go elsewhere. They'll give you the fair price just to keep things smooth. They don't want to gamble on someone who looks like they have power. This works in every part of life. If you're dealing with a landlord who won't fix your heat, or a boss who keeps dumping extra work on you without extra pay, check your victim signals. Are you looking like someone who is easy to bully? Machiavelli knew that people will hurt you if they think it's safe to do so. You make it unsafe by changing your image. You stand taller, you dress better than the situation requires, and you stop explaining why you need help. You start stating what is required. When you stop looking like a victim, the predators move on to easier targets. You stop paying the debt of poverty and start collecting the interest of respect. You win by making the cost of disrespecting you too high for them to pay. Power doesn't hang out with poverty. It's not just about what you own. It's about the club people think you belong to. In this world, there is an inner circle where the real money moves, the real secrets are traded, and the real favors are done. If you look poor, you are automatically locked out. People share their best leads and their biggest opportunities with those they think are their equals. If you walk around looking like you're struggling, people will keep you at arm's length because they are terrified that your bad luck might be contagious. They don't want to be pulled down by your problems. Machiavelli taught that a prince must always appear to have the qualities the world admires, even if he's still working on getting them. You have to look like you're already in the circle to get an invite to join it. Imagine you're at a high-level networking event, a big wedding, or even just a popular bar where the heavy hitters are gathered. You're standing in the corner because your suit doesn't fit right, your hair is messy, and your watch is plastic. You see the guys at the center of the room laughing, swapping phone numbers, and talking about deals that could change your life. You want to go over there, but you can feel the invisible wall. No one approaches you. When you try to chime in, they give you a polite nod and turn their backs. You're the ghost in the room. The problem isn't that you aren't smart or capable. It's that your wrapping paper tells them you don't belong in their world. You're being filtered out by the group's survival instinct to avoid low-value connections. To break this cycle, you have to stop looking like a fan and start looking like a player. You fix this by investing in the markers of the elite. These aren't always expensive, but they must be perfect. Clean nails, a firm posture, and shoes that are shined until you can see your face in them. You don't try to force your way into their conversation. That's what desperate people do. Instead, you stand near the center of the room, looking comfortable and calm. You act like you've been there 1,000 times. When you finally do speak, you don't talk about your grind or how hard you're working. You ask an intelligent, relaxed question about their success or a specific trend in their industry. You listen more than you talk. Because you look like you belong, their guard drops. They assume you have your own connections and your own inner circle somewhere else. Suddenly, the same people who ignored you are offering you their business cards. They start telling you about the real way things work because they think they're talking to a peer. You win the game by making them feel like you are the one doing them a favor by hanging out. You don't need to be a millionaire to get the information that makes millions. You just need to look like someone who could handle the weight of that information. In the end, the inner circle isn't a place. It's a vibe. If you master the look, the doors will swing open on their own. Being cheap is the most expensive thing you can do to yourself. When you buy the lowest tier clothes, eat the lowest tier food, and live in the lowest tier way, it starts to seep into your skin and rot your confidence. You start to move like a man who expects to lose. Machiavelli knew that the prince who tries to save every penny eventually loses his state because he lacks the grandeur to inspire his people or intimidate his rivals. If you look cheap, you look disposable. If you look like you don't value yourself, why should anyone else? The world takes its cue from you. If you put yourself on the discount rack, don't be surprised when people try to buy your soul for a bargain. Think about a situation where you're trying to sign a big client or land a partner for a business idea. You've worked hard on your pitch, but you try to save $50 by meeting them in a loud, greasy fast food joint or a dingy coffee shop with chipped tables. You show up in a shirt that's thin and see-through because it was the cheapest one in the store. The client looks at the sticky table, smells the old fry oil, and then looks at you. Suddenly, your professional fee feels like a total scam to them. They aren't thinking about your talent. They're thinking about why a successful person is sitting in a basement-tier cafe. They'll try to grind your price down until you're working for pennies, or they'll just ghost you because they don't trust a man who looks like he's one skipped meal away from a breakdown. You fix this by realizing that spending is often investing. You stop trying to save your way to the top and start positioning your way there. You spend the extra money to meet at the best hotel lobby in town, a place where the air smells like success and the chairs are leather. You don't have to buy the whole hotel. You just have to buy 2 expensive coffees. You dress like the expert they need, not the freelancer they can bully. You wear a heavy, high-quality fabric that doesn't wrinkle the moment you sit down. By surrounding yourself with a rich environment, you justify your high price tag without saying a single word. They pay the premium because they feel they're buying into a lifestyle and a sure bet, not just a service. The cost of being cheap shows up in your daily battles too. If you buy the cheap version of everything, you're constantly repairing, replacing, and apologizing. You look frazzled. You look like you're struggling with your gear instead of mastering your craft. Machiavelli would tell you to appear to have grandeur, and grandeur doesn't come from a bargain bin. When you carry yourself with cheap energy, you attract cheap people, the kind who want something for nothing and disappear when things get tough. To get out of this, you cut out the clutter. Instead of 5 cheap outfits, you own 2 great ones. Instead of 10 cheap meetings, you have 1 high-stakes lunch. You win because you stop looking like a guy who is trying to survive and start looking like a guy who is ready to rule. People don't follow the man who saves the most. They follow the man who looks like he's worth the most. The world doesn't have time to read your resume. It reads your face, your clothes, and your energy. If you look like a victim, the world will treat you like one. But if you master the Machiavellian art of appearance, you can open doors that were never meant for you. If you're ready to stop being invisible and start being influential, you need to master these tactics. Hit the like button if you're tired of being overlooked and you're ready to start playing the game to win. Subscribe and turn on notifications to join a circle of people who understand that power isn't given. It's taken through strategy and perception. Drop a comment below with the word shield if you're committing today to never let the world see you sweat again. Don't just watch the game. Control how the game sees you. I'll see you in the next one.